There you go. Hi, this is Valerie Medina, Chicana Mama, coming to you with Drawing on Spirit, a compilation of interviews that I've started having with artists and trying to understand their creativity spark and what makes them create and how they connect to that. I have here today Rafael Ramirez, Congero from the Mission originally, and now in the East Bay. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Rafi.
How you doing? Hi, Valerie.
Okay, so I've got a group of questions for you I want to ask.
Okay.
Now, I'm a little bit... Okay, there. That's better. Oh, see, the light's changing. Okay, so my first question for you is to... can you describe your work, your artwork, and your intentions and goals? What do you hope to achieve with playing music?
Sure, I can. My work can be described as recording and performing Latin percussionist primarily, although I do play drums. I've played Brazilian music. I played surdos and conto surdo. I was with the Escuela Nova do Samba for a while. And I also had my own Afro-Cuban dance troupe called Escuela Nova do Comparsa Arco Iris.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we were 72 members strong. Wow. Yeah, we took second place in Carnival of 81, I believe, 80 and 81.
Rafi, I didn't know that about you.
I have a lot of history. I've been playing for a long time. I'm versatile. I'm known as or I consider myself a very versatile percussionist. I play many genres of music, from big band. I was with a jump swing band. We toured LA for a while. They were called Indigo Swing. I've been playing music all my life, ever since I was a baby. You could find me under the sink where the pots and pans were, playing on the pots and pans. I was one of those kind of kids.
Right.
I was also the kind of kid that whenever I heard a drum, I would run to it. I would actually run to the drums.
You're attracted to the sound.
Always drawn to the drum. I was a prodigy when I was very young playing drums. My father bought me a real small conga when I was a very young boy. I started playing on that, and he'd come home with his friends late at night and show me off to his friends and make me play for his friends. And I'm talking like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, so he'd wake up and bring him over, and he'd like to show me off. I was professionally trained and tutored by Alex Mendez, who was a great drummer himself. He played tabla, he played jazz drums, trap set, and he played great congas.
Where was he from?
He was Puerto Rican Hawaiian, and he was living on Patrol Hill with a beautiful family that my father knew well My dad was a merchant marine and sailed a lot, and he met a lot of people like that. So I grew up around a lot of adults and music as a kid. So Alex, I heard him downstairs one time at his house. We were visiting him, and I went downstairs, and I just stood there and watched him in awe as he played. He was just so into it and playing. And then after he stopped playing, he looked at me and he said, "Do you want to learn how to play?" And I said, "Yeah." And so I started with him for about 5 or 7 years drumming with him. Matter of fact, he made me do this. Not on a drum, but on a kitchen table whenever we came over there. I would bring up a look candy bar, we'd freeze it, then I'd crack it, and then we'd share the look candy bar just talking, and I'd be doing this. And he made me do this for a year.
Oh, wow.
Just this for a year.
Kind of like the Karate Kid.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And this was my training for a year. And then he started me on a pattern. And so, one drum. Of course.
So do you, well, okay, so getting back to the question.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's all right.
No.
So do you have actual concrete goals that you want to achieve with your music?
I want to preserve Latin jazz. That is my main thing right now. Live Latin jazz. I want to play it. I want to have connection with people, so that when I play my music, they dance, they feel good.
Right.
It takes them to places. Sometimes they get nostalgic, sometimes not.
Right.
Sometimes they're in a moment where they're just forgetting all their outside problems.
Right. Okay,
Right.
let's go off script then.
Okay.
When you are playing on the stage and you're viewing a dance floor and you can see the people start to come up to dance, do you get energy back from the
Yes.
dancers?
Definitely.
How does that feel for you?
Exciting. It excites me. It brings me great joy
Right.
to know that my music is having an effect on people.
Right,
Making
right.
them happy.
Moving someone.
Moving, yeah, and they're into it. And so they're absorbing what we're doing.
Yeah. It's an energy exchange.
It's an energy exchange, right.
Yeah.
If I can't make you move or feel good or smile or something like that, I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
Or whatever I'm doing is not working. Right.
Okay. So, at what point did you become aware that you were creative? So, you talked about that already, being little.
In a way, yeah, being a little, I just was. I was a drummer and from birth.
Just part of who you are
Yeah,
as a person.
It's what I am.
Connected.
I've tried many things in life, many straight jobs. I've had many entry-level position jobs, but it was only to support my drumming. And I always came back to my drumming. When I had nothing, I used to go to the streets in the city, downtown, on Powell Street Market, and I would take my drums and I would drum, put out the hat and drum. And we'd get chased away from there, a few blocks away to Union Square, then we'd go back down the market and back up. We'd make this triangle, just drumming, and then the cops would chase us off, and we'd keep on going there. And that's how we used to make money when I had no money.
Oh, wow. You put out a cup?
Yeah, just drummed.
So, how did you feed the creativity? So when you went out, when you went out to the street, you got other friends to come. You enlisted other friends to come and drum with you, right?
Sometimes I would. I did a lot of drumming, I think, at Aquatic Park in San Francisco, on the steps. For many, many years, I drummed out there with the drummers. And then at other places as well, Hippie Hill, other parts, all through the city.
How did being in the public, why was that important to you, to be out?
It was not so much being in the public, it was being out in the open and fresh air and drumming with brother drummers, and just drumming.
So that was
getting into a zone.
That connection with those other artists, those other...
We fed off each other.
Yeah.
And it was a gathering. It was always like a gathering of drumming.
A communion.
Yes, exactly.
So how do you think your music has evolved over time?
In my drumming, I was always taught to practice clarity and tone, no matter what style of drumming I was doing. And so I've prided myself on being a good timekeeper, playing clean and strong, and I applied that to all styles of music. I love music. I love good music. And I love to be in it or a part of it. So that's what I've tried to do in my music. But I'm not sure if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
So what are your favorite instruments and why?
Naturally, percussion instruments are my favorite.
What other instruments do you play?
I don't play any other instruments, not really play. I do love trombone.
Oh.
I love trombone.
Yeah,
I love a good pianist. I love a good guitarist. I love melodic instruments that are capable of making music and creating songs from people's ideas and dreams or what have you. You know, that they can transpose to physical music, be it piano or guitar or what have you. And then I like to be the root of it or the foundation of it. You know.
I've never heard that expressed that way. Transposing a piece of music from a dream. So
Sometimes you can be in a shower and a tune will come to your head.
Yeah.
I lived with a producer one time, and if I short story, he was in the other bedroom and I was in one bedroom, and he tried to play on his piano in his room, real soft melody that he heard in his head. Right? He actually got up out of bed. I guess he was dreaming, and he played on the piano, and so I heard him barely playing on it. And it woke me up, still woke me up. I said, "Hey, Bill, play the goddamn piano, play the damn song." And so he said, "Well, come on in with your drum." I said, "Okay." So we created a tune there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So you can hear a melody in your head anywhere. You know, sometimes people more than not hear them in the shower. Sometimes they try to sing a tune and they don't know.
That's a good space to create, actually. Yeah.
And sing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to expound on that idea, how does inspiration come to you? What kinds of activities might you be doing where, we shower?
Actually, it comes a lot from my teacher who let me hear a lot of music, a lot of other artists, a lot of other drummers, a lot of styles that I was interested in, if not astounded by some of the drummers that I used to hear. And so I learned a lot from listening, as do many other musicians. And so I absorbed a lot of outside music from all over or wherever I heard music. But I had a lot of Cuban and Puerto Rican music in me.
Okay. And so simply from hearing other music, that makes
I drew knowledge and creativity as well. Or I practiced things that I did and added them to my vocabulary of what I say on my drums.
Okay. And talk more about that, about drumming being a conversation.
Yes. Different patterns we call, or different what we call chops that you have, or things that you do.
Can you show me something where one drum? Oh.
Something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Even that.
Mm-hmm.
When I was there was a man I'd like to acknowledge. There's a wall that many of us hit when we're drumming in the beginning, starting to drum. For many years, I just wanted to play the beat. I didn't want to solo. I just wanted to play. I wanted to be the timekeeper, which is what we're supposed to be.
Yeah,
in
that's
essence, right?
Yeah.
So
the heart.
The beat, boom. And so I didn't want to solo, but then I had come to a point in my drumming where I had to. I was supposed to solo at some time, someplace. They'd point or say, "Do the solo," so, or take a solo. And I go, So I drummed with this wonderful vibist and timbal player named Nerio de Gracia, who's passed away. But Nerio de Gracia helped me break through a wall. I said, "Well, how do I solo?" He said, "Like this. You start with one beat.
Just one hit of the drum.
Or you go, and then to take your time. So I started just with single tones. He said, but it's the way you put them and where you put them and how you phrase them that makes it a solo, And sometimes he said space is just as important as a beat. You hit, stop, let it breathe,
right.
Come back in and out. It's like a painting. You don't put color all over the whole thing necessarily. Sometimes you leave white, or you leave the canvas, or what have you. Leave, some space there so that the other colors can breathe and come out more, or
right.
something.
Or you put one color next to the other to
Yeah,
make
contrast.
each vibrant.
Each
Yeah.
vibrant,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. That's good. So, at its core, what would you say inspiration is?
Feeling. Feeling. Sometimes emotion.
Yeah.
Creativity is expression of oneself, how they see or phrase something. There again, drumming and talking through drumming, that's how they express a feeling or a passion.
How do you allow that to come in?
It's something instantaneous inside you, usually. It comes from inside rather than from outside.
Right.
Although sometimes when you're drumming and you're so into it, feels like something else takes over, almost like an out-of-body experience. But that's only once in a while. Doesn't happen too often. But when you're playing, you're just drawing on your vocabulary and your phrasing. Things come to you that you just try, and so that's how you solo. Also, besides soloing, there's different patterns that you learn, and you incorporate your patterns in the playing. So you learn different ways of doing things. Like there's a specific way of doing what they call matcha, right? And then you do variations off of that, and that's what I'm talking about. Variations off of that pattern, different ways of doing that pattern, and that comes with knowledge and learning.
So, when you go to your drums and you create, you go to your routine, your pattern.
Yeah.
How do you make room for inspiration to come in, to create something new?
Actually, you stop the pattern that you're doing, and you try to interject something, and it's almost instantaneous. It's something that comes to you inside your mind, and you have to make it come out of your hands. And that's not always easy. Many times you try to do something and you screw it all up. So it's how you react to that too as well. And that's part of entertaining or performing. If you screw up, you have to come back in, just, clean it up, play again, or try it again.
Kind of fake it.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes, it's kind of like faking it, but you still, it's how you clean it up. It's how you come respond.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So it's the creative thing. Just it comes from within. It comes from somewhere in your mind. Stuff that you have in your head, and it just comes out. But if you don't practice, you can't interpret it.
Right.
If
you can't access
if
it.
you're not ready here, it can't come out smoothly.
So is there a language that you've developed? I mean, as we're talking, I realize you're expressing yourself in a way as a visual artist. I haven't heard, but I understand what you're saying.
Some musicians are not good at verbalizing what they want to say. Some aren't, but a lot of us are type of person that we do our talking on
the drums, right?
On the drum.
Or they'll tell you, I don't know, I just did a para, tika, 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 tika.
We do. I do have a language like that. Yeah. Goon and pop.
And
Ding, ding, ding.
goon means a
Ding, ding,
hit
ding, ding, ding,
deep.
ding, ding.
Do you think, and so other drummers,
Some sing like that
Uh-huh.
when they're playing. Some were famous for it, but when you're doing a recording session, usually you don't do that.
right,
Not
yeah,
that you can't, but you usually don't. You
It-
know,
it would
it's
interfere.
good when you're performing if you want to verbalize what
Right.
you're doing.
Uh-huh.
It's like when a pianist starts verbalizing his tones.
Right, right. Sometimes they do scat
Yeah,
along
yeah,
with it.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So in this language you've developed between other artists, that's fine. So do you ever feel that you need to explain yourself or explain your music to other people? Is there ever a time when you've had to do
I'm
that?
labeled as a Latin rock percussionist.
Oh,
I was with Puro Bandido, a great band, Bandido, who played with some of the greatest Latin artists around, from Linda Ronstadt to Mongo to Los Lobos, Tierra, Malo, Sapo. We played with all of them at one time or another. The band I was in that band for 15 years. But so I got the title of being a Latin rock Congero.
mm-hmm.
I was playing with black groups before I was playing with any groups and original. I love original material. I love original material. Well, good original material. And, I've that's why I say I'm versatile. I play many styles. I can do a lot of different things well. You know. I never. Some people say, "You're great. You're this. You're that." I don't like that because I don't consider myself that. I'm not great, but I'm damn good. I'll put it that way. I'm not ashamed of saying that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do have pride in my drumming. You know, I don't have an ego where I'm competitive. I feel like
There's room for everybody.
there's room for everybody. Go do your thing. Be as great as you can. I support you.
Right.
Great. But don't be jealous of anything that I do. I'll show you what I do. You know, I mean, I love to share what I have, you know.
Do you create a separate type of music for yourself that you don't share with an audience?
I'm a softie at heart. I have different times in my life like everybody. Sometimes we go through blue spots,
Mm-hmm.
and I love blue music. And it wouldn't match up with who people think I am a lot
Right.
of the time.
Right.
You know, so it is private and it is personal. But I love a lot of different kinds of music. Well, one of my favorite songs that we've done, and that's from Root. There was a band that I put together with Zach Ferris, a pianist from Boston. He's back there now. But anyway, we put together a trio called Rue, and it became Alta.
Oh.
And we went in the studio and we recorded a tune called Blue and Green. And it's haunting. It's one of my favorite tunes that we do. Currently, one of my favorite tunes that we're doing was arranged by Rob Lowe, I believe. I'm sorry, I may be not quoting the right person. But anyway, it's called Havana. It's a beautiful 6/8 tune, beautiful melodic haunting. I like it. Some people listen to it and go, that's okay. I mean, it's a tune that I like, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, if you were to talk to someone who's new to music, or actually not even, say someone came up to you and said, you know, you have such talent. I don't even know where to start, but sometimes I feel like I want to pick up an instrument, but do people ever say that to you?
Yeah, quite often, to be honest with you.
But what do you say to
People want to
them?
play like the level that I'm at.
And how many years have you been playing?
I'm 70 now. I've been playing all my life. And I'm not as good as I should be for my age. I'm not where I should be compared to some great percussionists that have been playing just as long as I have, who attain great heights of their drumming. But here's the thing: when someone wants to say, "Man, I want to play like that," there's you have to practice. It takes discipline, desire, drive, hunger. I mean, and then once you
Passion.
get past the mechanics, the rudiments of things, once your hands get where they should supposed to be, you'll find that the more you listen to music and practice what other people do as well, or learn or take lessons, it takes a lot of practice and studying, but then you'll start getting to where you want to go. But you got to put in the work. It's not going to come without that.
Yeah.
It's just not.
So it's got to be a great passion then.
Yeah, you gotta practice.
Has there been a time in your life when you set it aside?
I've let it rest once in a while, but never for very long.
What's the longest you let it rest?
Actually, I don't know. I can't. It hasn't been years or maybe months. Sometimes.
Was it because some other part of your life got in the way?
No, I never let anything get in the way of me as a drummer. No.
That's the key right there, huh?
Yeah.
Not to let anything else get in the way.
Some people don't know what they are, what they're going to be, what this. That was never a question for me. I always knew I was a drummer, and I always knew that I'm just living for my music. That's all I live for.
It's the core of who you are?
That's all I live for. Music. Drumming.
Not food.
I mean, it's more than drumming now. It's more like creating music with people or being a part of music. I just joined another band that was they disbanded, sadly, and then they regrouped. You know, bands disband because of chemistry not working out or what have you. But the band regrouped. It's called Preto and the Mirage Band. And the thing about their band is they're fun.
Oh, that's nice.
They're fun. I'm having fun again. And that's more than money at this point in my life sometimes.
Yeah.
Because with a big band, you're not going to make any money. And nobody wants to pay you respectfully enough. What you do.
Yeah.
You know? It's a business, so they can't. They have maybe a certain headroom that they can afford for entertainment. And they have to make money and survive too as a business. But people that have poured their heart and soul and becoming the musicians that they are deserve at least to be compensated for who they are and what they do.
Yes.
At least some respectful amount of money.
Yeah, and money is energy, and you exchange this energy for.
It's money sometimes is I don't know. I hate to use validation in some way because you're paid your worth usually. You know. It's not always money that's validation. It's, to be honest with you, it's your peers that give you validation. And it's the people that admire what you do or like what you do or come up and say, hey, wow, you sound really good. And it could be anybody to do that to make you feel good.
Yeah.
I never blow that off or disrespect that. And it's always has value to me inside when someone does.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you want people to know about music and
I want people
yourself,
to know
how inspiration shows up for you and
what I and we do as musicians are I want people to support musical ventures and different projects by people. I want to keep music alive, especially live music. I want people to support live music more because it's an art. It's hard to do. It's not easy. It's a labor of love, to be sure of that. Labor of passion as well. And we love what we do, and we hope that you love what we do too.
Mm-hmm.
And we love the support of you when we play music. The thing about live music, it's in jeopardy. Once again, we have a lot of DJs that are taking the place of live groups and bands and musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And they play records that are done by live musicians.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like back in the disco days when disco came.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I went through that. But it was horrendous to bands.
To live music,
It
yeah.
was horrendous. It wiped us out.
Yeah.
You're taking someone that's taken a lifelong career in music as an artist and wiping it out. They have nowhere to go, nowhere to play, no source of income for some of us. I mean, it supplements my income. You know, I'm grateful for that. But I mean, it's so hard that DJs are taking our music away now. They don't mean to, but that's just the way it is. You know.
Before we end here, I wanna go back to that. We were having actually a conversation off camera.
Yeah.
About how when you actually are playing,
Yeah.
and you get, say you're playing descarga where you are going off on a solo,
Right.
and suddenly, can you talk a little bit about what happens to you when you're soloing sometimes?
Well, my teeth start to go long. No.
And a hair sprouts out of your
and look
ears.
at people's necks. No, I'm kidding. No. I guess I go into a state, and the creative juices just start flowing through me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so they're invisible, so it's hard to describe what they are.
Right.
You
They
know,
are a feeling.
They are just feeling and passion.
Right.
You know, yeah. That's what it is, I guess. It's hard to explain, put my finger on what it is. It's sometimes, like what we've talked about before, when you go so deep into your solo and you're just into it very deep, it feels like something else takes over. And you start playing stuff and doing stuff that you don't know how, where it came from, why. You don't know how you created it. It just comes out. And to be asked to do that again for a second time isn't going to happen because
Right.
it just
Right.
goes away. So something comes and goes.
Where do you think that?
Hmm?
Where do you? So when that's happening,
Yeah.
is your consciousness stepping back, and something else is coming forward?
That has happened. That has happened. It's like I can watch myself from out of my body almost playing.
Yeah.
Or I just feel something else is doing its thing. Through I become the vessel
Right.
of something.
Right. Right. What do you think that something is?
A spirit.
Do you think that that is a universal?
It could be my spirit. It could be some other spirit. Something deep inside of me, even deeper, coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Dancing. Playing, dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.